We're gonna just keep letting them in. How's everybody doing?
Double
Good.
thumbs up, single
Thumbs
thumbs up.
up. Staying warm. Hopefully, I know I'm cold. I have a blanket. I have a blanket on right now. I would have worn a hat probably if I weren't on video. Oh,
I guess I'd have to be sitting down to wear a blanket, or I could wear it over my head. Like,
the cozy. I saw that Costco now has like it's like a blanket. It's like an electric blanket, but it has like footy like holes in it. So it goes up around your legs. Like you don't have to, I'm like thinking about it.
I I saw that after I got home from Costco and I was like, should I head back?
You, that's a tough one because you have to be ready to go to Costco.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you just, you have to
I
like
don't.
prepare.
I hate
Like
Costco. It
Costco.
gives me like the greatest anxiety in my
It's
whole
a
life.
lot of, you to be ready.
We had a membership when Nicholas was a baby, so we get like diapers and wipes there, but I would just like where the diapers and wipes were and our Costco was just like straight across from the front door. So I would just go in, get
Yeah,
them, wait in the ridiculously long line,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
then peace out.
I know
Can't.
it. I know. Oh, all right. Hi everyone.
Hey
Hey Linda,
everyone!
hey Becca, Michael. Um, who else have I? We saw
Oh, Linda
Hannah and
has
Sarah.
you have an emoji in your Zoom name? Do you
I
just
do.
add that as like a regular emoji?
Linda.
I did.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
Well, you know now.
This is
All
why we
right.
have to have more group meetings.
I know, I know. I know, I feel like I want to get a screenshot too. Maybe at the
You
end
should.
we
Where
can
we're all
like
going like,
whoever wants to come off a video and be like in a group picture. Um, I'm gonna get it started though because we have a jam-packed hour. And you know how we are with time management. So, except for Kristen. Um, she's gonna keep us on schedule. So she's just gonna blurt in there, Kristen, when we're off schedule. Don't even like do the wrap it up or like a message. I won't see it. Like literally just say, speed it up, okay?
you're cut off.
You're cut off, right?
Oh, we should have like
Mute
Oscars music where it's like do, 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 do,
for Kristen to use. Yeah.
do.
Um,
Anyways,
uh, where is it? Where is my Chrome? Chrome. Let's see if I got it. Yay. Okay. Can you guys see the presentation? Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Um, because we're packing a lot of things in, we're going to do questions at the end, and we can hang out longer for questions if we need to. So we'll do that just so that we can stay on track. It's really just for us. We really want to answer questions. We're excited. We're really excited about this year. Um, we are also just so grateful for you, right? We're so grateful for you and your contribution and your feedback and your investment in this because we know it's been an investment of your time and your energy and your passion and your patience. And so what we want to do here today is give you a preview of, you know, where we're going because of the feedback that you've given us, but also just give you some like sneak previews into what it may look like and how we're going to get involved in the momentum that's coming because of the investment that you guys have given us as founding members in this. And we're beyond excited for the potential for it and to start really building up that collaborative ecosystem. Um, we have a community right now that's really amazing, but we're ready to start building the ecosystem. Um, so just a quick agenda. We're going to just kind of quickly go through the vision and mission, values, and goals for what this is that you've been so integral in so far and will continue to be as founding members. We want to talk about the input that you gave us, right? We had opportunities in December for us to come together and to really give us valuable feedback. And so we want to talk about that and how that's impacting what we're building and how we're moving forward. I want to talk a little bit about the ecosystem partner mapping pilot that we're going to be launching, among other things that we're doing, and how to start getting more momentum right now, right? When we talk about things we are building, we want to talk about what we're getting momentum on right now as well. So just to kind of give you a recap, if you're, it's been a little while since a lot of you onboarded, and we've had more clarity around this as well, although most of it, 95% of it has not changed at all. And we are moving forward with this vision and mission of evolving the current model of entrepreneurship, right? For more collective and individual resilience, prosperity, and impact. That's becoming collaborators instead of competitors, right? And creating a new model of entrepreneurship. And we're doing that in our mission to invest in the study of collaborative entrepreneurship as an impactful building and growth strategy. It's in creating a mindset shift around the role of entrepreneur in the public, in the mainstream, and the potential of collaborative entrepreneurship. It's in providing a community and a platform to prepare for successful collaborative entrepreneurship and to connect aligned partners, identify collaborative opportunities, and support collaborative endeavors. And there are a lot of ways that we envision being able to do that, including financial support down the road. And many of you are aware of some of those bits of the mission for us, and we'll talk more about that at other times, but that's that's year 2, year 3, but we're really excited about that piece too. And then propelling collaborative ventures. Oh no, this is that part. Propelling collaborative ventures through collective grants, lending, and investment. So you're not going to hear much about point 4 in here, because that's beyond year 1, although potentially it could be before then, but we're realists. So what are our shared values? Who are we here? We're reflective global citizens. And so as we kind of go through this, when I talk about integrity and I talk about shared values in the collaborators that we bring in, this is who we are, and maintaining that integrity of these shared values is incredibly important to us. When I tell you that the 3 of us came together on shared values, we mean it, right? And we hold each other accountable to these values. Right? You hold us accountable, we hold you accountable, we come together with these shared values. And I am incredibly confident that everyone in this room and in the community share those values, and integrity for us is growing this community in alignment to those values. Everyone that comes in shares them. We're reflective global citizens. So we're open-minded, self-aware, willing to be wrong, celebrate our differences, and allow others to be mirrors for us. We're collective contributors, right? We're ready to co-create opportunities. We're open-minded to the collective nature of being in this community. We share our gifts freely. We look and seek for clarity and momentum through contribution and collaboration. We're playful experimenters. We're ready to try and to try again and to understand, right? What's working, what's not. We're treating this as an experiment. And we're taking that reflection and we're looking at it and learning from it together. So we're also real and ready to roll, right? We show up honestly, whether that's, playful and excited and open-minded and ready to learn, or we're experiencing other things going on in our lives and we show up in our pajamas, right? And what we show up in that realness, we show up in that vulnerability. We're not sitting here giving our elevator pitch to each other because it makes us all nauseous, right? We're not performative, and we're ready to take action together in our realness. And we're ready to have to take personal accountability for where we are in our own journey, right? To be vulnerable about that, to own our shortcomings, to own our genius, right? Both of those things. We're ready to show back up when we feel like we didn't get it right. We're ready to acknowledge other perspectives and our own limits. And so this is who we are. I know I spent a lot of time on that, but it's so crucial that we share these values and we're invested in continuing to live them together. Okay, so our goals for 2026. I mentioned that we are currently a community, and our goal, our mission is really to build a collaborative ecosystem. And so the pilot launching in September, us learning together, figuring it out, exploring, experimenting, that's all going to continue. But we need to shift now from building a small community and understanding the early stages of what it takes to support collaborative entrepreneurship into how do we build an ecosystem where we can fulfill our mission. And so that means growing our ecosystem of collaborators. Our goal in year one is 1,000. And I say that because for us to truly have a collaborative ecosystem, to bring in all of the diversity and the opportunities for us to really connect in innovative and powerful ways for more resilience, for more prosperity, for more impact, is to have an aligned ecosystem of collaborators ready to connect and partner with, right? So as we move from understanding our puzzle piece and understanding who we are as collaborators, we're ready to go out and start experimenting with each other, start collaborating, start building relationships that create opportunities for us individually and collectively. And so as we do that, I know I spent a lot of time on values, but it's so crucial that we build with integrity, right? That we are bringing diverse collaborative members who bring all kinds of roles, right, and experience and gifts into the equation, right? But that they're aligned to those core values, and that we focus on that diversity and we continue to grow with shared integrity. We also want to continue building out an infrastructure that supports collaborative entrepreneurship holistically. And we're going to talk more about that in this meeting, because that's critical for kind of building the foundation as we grow. We're going to pilot and launch a beta ecosystem mapping tool this year. I'm going to talk to you a little more about that at the end. And we will also be launching our partner profit sharing program. We're not going to talk about that in this meeting, but you'll see that coming later this year as well. Okay, so back in December, you gave us a lot of feedback. We asked for feedback and you delivered, right? And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to pass this over to Tracy and to Kristen, and they're going to kind of dive into what did we take away from that feedback that you gave us on your experience in here so far and what you want going forward. So with that, I'm going to pass that over to, well,
To me.
I'm going back to Tracy.
Thank you, Melissa. And I want to thank everyone again for showing up here today. It shows us your commitment to continuing to understand where we're going as a team. And that means a lot to us because we are here to do stuff as a team, which is why we hosted these feedback sessions in December, because we we all have our own ideas of how to solve problems, but do we need to solve a whole bunch of problems that are not problems? No, nobody has time for that. So thank you to everyone who participated in those feedback sessions. We ran 3 different feedback sessions at different time zones so we could get as many people on those as possible. And as an overall summary, there were 4 big things that we took away. Actually, I will say 5 big things we took away because we didn't put all of the awesome stuff that everybody said about the community. And one of the things that continues to resonate with me that we heard over and over is that the community feels alive. And I think that is something that is really meaningful to us as founders and is also exists because you guys are here participating in things. So shout out to that. We have lots of things we are building on, which we aren't specifically spending time on today. We're specifically spending time on some of the tweaks that we wanted to make coming out of those conversations. So the first thing we heard people say quite often was that they came in and they felt like they were in the middle of something, which is good from an aliveness point of view, but can also be confusing. And so we interpreted that into two buckets. First of all, an orientation bucket. So how do we welcome and support people and help them understand where they are when they come into the community? And also, we set ourselves a challenge of how we could simplify things, because when you come into a lot of things, it's harder than if you come into clearly mapped things. So I'm actually going to pass it over to Kristen to talk about some of the improvements that we're testing, our hypothesized improvements that are related to both the orientation and the simplification of the community itself. So Kristen.
Yeah, thanks, Tracy. So first thing we did is, well, we're in the process of building an orientation course so that when people come in, they have a step-by-step process to walk through to orient them to the space, what we do here, and how to engage. So we're working on that. That should be out within the next couple of weeks before we launch more officially at the end of the month. Second thing we did was we went in and simplified all of the spaces. So now when you go into the community, we have the commons area, which is the general thread. And that's really where you want to put like sharing articles, podcasts, resources related to collaborations, partnerships, noticing or like reflections on like real life experiences around collaboration. You can ask questions in there that aren't necessarily specific to like looking for a collaborator, but like if you have questions, throw them in the general area. That kind of is the main thread where everything general community conversations live. We still have the announcement threads. I have been putting every Monday what this week's events are in there. Also, as we roll out some of these things that you'll hear about today, we'll make sure to inform in that announcements thread so that you know where to find them and what's available. The collaboration pathway section, we simplified into the collaborator database and looking for collaborators. So no matter what type of collaboration you're looking to engage with others on, it all goes into that one looking for collaborators thread, just to make that simple for everybody. And then we have the collaboration experiments section, and that's our current experiment that we're working on, whatever that is that Tracy's leading us through, such as that creating contributor clarity experiment that we went through in December. And then there's also a wild ideas section. One of the things that we heard was that y'all want a place to explore some of these ideas that maybe aren't fully formed yet. And so there's a place in there for that. The other thing that we simplified, and maybe Melissa, if you want to go to the next slide and then we can come back, is our events. So we have 4 kind of main types of events, and then we'll have, you know, some of these special, like today is a kind of a special event. As we kick off experiments, we'll have different events, but our consistent events are the Commons Live, which is the place to gather to connect and build those relationships. Because that was another thing we heard, is that, you know, no matter what kind of call we got on, y'all wanted to get to know each other. So this is the space to do that. The Collaboration Lounge, that is a weekly virtual co-working space for that focused flow. You can come if you're working on something together. You can come in, we can put you in a breakout room so that you have that time to focus and work on stuff together. Or if you're doing in a collaboration and you've got something that you need to get done, that can be your time to work on that specific collaboration. But it's just a virtual co-working time that you can come and kind of get shit done. Next, we have the Wild Ideas Labs. So these are more in-person, just a monthly space to explore, test, and develop some of those emerging ideas, have some of those brainstorming conversations, and see where things go. And then at the collaboration table, our monthly panel conversations that are really about exploring those real world collaboration topics through the lived expertise of the members in the community. We thought that was one of the ways that y'all could also showcase your expertise So we'll pick different topics and then you can just let us know if it's a panel that you want to be on. The next one is at the end of February on collaboration as marketing. So if you want to join in on that conversation, definitely reach out to me. All right, I'll turn it back to you, Tracy.
Yeah, this is one of the things I also want to mention is that we've tried to somewhat standardize the times of those sessions so that we have recurring opportunities for people in all of our time zones. So specifically, if you look at the lounge and you look at the Commons Live, those ones have a rotating calendar. So there should be at least 2 a month that fit into your calendar. Because we are only doing wild ideas once a month, it will rotate month over month. So just make sure if you look at the calendar and you're like, oh, wild ideas is at midnight for me this month, then it probably won't be next month. And if you have a wild idea in the meantime, that's what the channels are for, or the threads are for.
One other thing I'll say about that too, real quick, is we also have a survey out right now for us to get your feedback on the types of events, when you're available for events. So if you haven't had a chance to give us your feedback on those things, I will drop that form into the chat.
And one quick other thing about that is as we grow, we will add more opportunities for those same events onto the calendar, right? We want enough people to be at the event. So we're at that kind of awkward stage where we have one of them, right, a week. As we grow, we will add more opportunities at different times. So this is what it looks like right now. And we will be continually evaluating that as we grow in size to accommodate as well.
And if you come to an event that you love and you would love to host one of those kinds of events, please reach out to us because we would love that as well. We have, I mean, the 3 of us have other time things on our calendar, so it can limit that. And if you want to contribute to one of those types of events, we would love that. So please reach out to us and let us know. Okay. Another thing that we heard you say was pathways. So the word pathways came up a whole bunch of times. And one of the things that has been very important to us from the beginning is that everyone is on their own journey. So it's not like one pathway that everyone must go on or join at the same time. But we heard that there was maybe lack of any pathway. And so we have created a first iteration of what we consider to be a pathway. A pathway with multiple entrance points and multiple exit points, and it's circular and all the things. Melissa, if you could go to the slide, because I feel like the slide helps us understand this, then this would be awesome. Okay, so when it comes to the types of activities that we're looking at in terms of this community, they're really not a lot of different ones. And so if you were looking at kind of a linear path and with 10 steps, then it's really not 10 steps per se, but more of a cyclical momentum creating upspinning of activities that we're doing here. So this is what I will tell you. I've wrestled with this diagram a lot. So if you guys have an idea about a way to better show that, please reach out to me. I don't even know how many iterations of this there was. But the point being in that building a collaborative ecosystem, if we go beyond just a single collaborative experience that we might be creating, if we're looking at this flow of building out our collaborative ecosystems, which we are doing in the community and each of us are doing as well, there is similar things that we're going to keep doing, but we don't want those similar things to spiral down into a weird pit of despair. I was watching The Princess Bride on the weekend, but spinning up to more possibilities. And so these are the different steps on the pathway that we are going to be reinforcing within the community. But everybody's going to be at a different stage. And so what I would love for all of you coming out of this is to look at it as okay, here's kind of the 3 steps. Where do I feel like I am? And where do I feel like I go next? Is that, because again, step 3 kind of goes back to 1, right? And we like circle up. So step 1 being that, I guess I should start with start
I
here.
don't see anything on the screen, Tracy.
Oh.
The slide. It's not up there.
Weird.
I
Did
see
you
a
see all the
slide.
other slides? Okay.
I see a slide.
I saw
did
the
too.
original slides. That's so weird. Why don't I see one? I see all of you, but I don't see any slides.
Up on the
says I
top of
see
your
it.
screen, is there 2 tabs? I have 2 tabs on
Oh,
the top.
there's 2 tabs. Oh, that's new. I never saw that before. Thank you, Kat.
Thank-
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Collaborative support. This is how we do it here. Okay, yes, because it's much easier to understand when you see the visual on this one. Thank you for calling that out, Linda. Okay, so start here is where we're going to be doing the kind of orientation that Kristen was mentioning. So all of you who participated in the sprint, the foundational piece of collateral that we used for that was the collaboration roles article. And there was a lot, we discovered a lot of value in that, even through the self-awareness part of that sprint. And so this is where we are going to be starting people. Also in that kind of exploratory, where do I begin? A lot of people do come in through the collaborative entrepreneurship labs, which some of you have, which some of you have still never attended. So again, it's not that all of these things are mandatory. Kat's mind is boggled that there's some people who haven't attended a lab yet. If you haven't, they're really fun and I highly recommend it. But it's not mandatory, which is again the point of the little swirl here. And the Commons Live. So when we talk about things like connecting to the community, feeling that aliveness, happens most at the Commons Live and or the lab. The lab is very interesting because it's also public. So we have the Wild Ideas Lab, which are internal, but the public labs, we get us there and we also get different people there. So it's an opportunity to like grow your network in those sessions. And then the Commons Live is for you to meet, build relationships with the people. So you can start to try on, where am I feeling called to go next? Step 1, collaboration activation. So now this is really for people coming in where they're like, I really like this idea of collaborative entrepreneurship, but like, I don't really know where I fit yet. And like, what do I need to know about myself in order to be the best collaborator that I can be? And this is what step 1 is about. I can't decide if I want step or stage or wave or whatever. If there's a word that you guys feel like really tightens this up, please let me know. This is where we have the contributor clarity. I called it an assessment in here, but it's actually in the process of being turned into a course. So the contributor clarity sprint, which we did in December, and thank you everyone who contributed to that, and like we did 3 rounds of feedback and everything on that. So thank you for that. We're turning it into a course so it can be done asynchronously for anybody who comes into the community at any time. I'm going to save my call out on that for later, otherwise I'll get distracted. We have the Wild Ideas Lab, which is where that is like, come try on your ideas. Or if you feel like you don't have any ideas, come, and other people have ideas. And you can like feel into, would I want to collaborate with that? Would I not want to? Because a no is equally good in terms of our learning at that stage. And then at the collaboration table panels. So those panels are an opportunity, as Kristen mentioned, to highlight your expertise, but also just to like get into the conversation. So they're not structured to be like a presentation. It won't be one community member who's like doing a presentation, but it'll be a group of community members who are talking about a thing from their area of expertise. So it's not just the roundtables were kind of more a group brainstorm. The panels are more about like, let's take all the people in our community that have the expertise and talk about the things. So this is another opportunity for you to come and learn what your fellow collaborators might have to contribute to your puzzle piece that could add value to you. So that's step 1, the collaboration activation. And then step 2, this is my favorite. I don't have a favorite step, just kidding. This is another good step. All of the steps are my favorite. partnered experiments. So another one of the things we heard is like, what do we do next? Like now that I've got this like really great insights about myself, like now what? How do I get into what we are now calling partnered experiments? Ooh, Becca, I'm going to go back to that later because I saw you have some good stuff there. But I'm going to get distracted. Focus. Okay. The community creates the space, and each of the collaborators create the invitation. And so when we come to step 2 in terms of the partnered experiments, this is your opportunity to invite someone into a collaboration. It could be a full big collaboration, or it could be, I mean, I think most of you guys know about me. I'm a big fan of like micro experiments. So creating like these little partnered micro experiments where you can like test out a collaboration. If I believe that I'm a builder and I could really use a like visionary, well, maybe I like connect with some of the visionaries in the community and create a little partnered experiment. These are, again, not necessarily that. Okay, they're definitely not actually a race of the unnecessarily. They're not the destination. Right? The partnered experience lead us to the destination. They lead us closer to the destination. So when we get too caught up in like figuring out the one thing that we could do that's going to be the magic thing that's going to work forever, then we get caught in analysis paralysis. And so here, what we're encouraging you all to do is like try a thing. Right. And we've seen a lot of really great stuff coming out of the community already. Kat's got a new community already on school, and there's some like really cool things that are happening. And so it's blocks in the puzzle. It's not meant to be like the big whole end goal. And so some of the things that we're going to be creating to support these partnered experiences, we already have the collaboration lounge. So that's a really great place to go if you have a collaboration that you're already working on and you want to have working time or working space to work on that. We're also going to be looking at co-creation pods. Okay? So when we're doing these like wild ideas and things like that, trying to match is maybe not quite the right word, but if you use match the way like dating apps use match very loosely, then it can work. So like these types of people are talking about these types of things. What could happen if they talked about those types of things together in a pod? And recommending some of that. And again, like I'm a big believer in like all of us individually going out and creating those and identifying those opportunities for us. But we are also going to be focusing on how can we do that from a infrastructure or very minimally group creation type of thing. And then what we really want to do is celebrate the collaborative projects, right? So whether you're collaborating with somebody who is currently in the incubator or you're working on other collaborative projects. I know a couple of people we've heard reach out and say like, I've been doing this, like, where can I share this? Let's talk about those collaborative projects, right? When they're collaborative projects, sometimes how you've structured a collaborative project is different than anyone has thought about it before. And so when you can share those types of things, that allows people to open their creativity and ingenuity into how they might be able to create a collaboration as well. So we really want to celebrate those collaborative projects. And as Kristen mentioned, right now we're doing that in the general thread. So please share them. We want to know, we want to celebrate with you. We want to reflect with you. Maybe we even want to get involved. Who knows, right? But if we're not sharing it, then nobody knows what's happening. So let's make sure we're sharing those collaborative projects whenever they are available.
And can I just add that, you know, at some point, there's a lot of collective learning that comes from that informs the models and the resources that we're sharing with the community, right? So as a form of collaboration, we're collectively getting better at collaboration and we're capturing that. You know, part of our mission is to really capture how do we get really amazing at collaboration. And so that helps to inform the resources that we offer to the community as they come in and they start spiraling upwards as well.
Yeah. And I would also say, I mean, equally when we have a collaborative project that we were not totally jazzed about, being able to share that and like start to use some of this language that we're building as we go in terms of like, oh, I found myself in a room of other builders and I'm also a builder and then we didn't really have direction and like I'm just making that up as an example, but like the learnings and what comes next in step 3, the consolidation and the reflection. This is a huge component of this, right? Like one of the things I'm very passionate about as a market researcher is that, like, first of all, no one is right on 100% of their hypotheses. And so if partnered experiments are based on a hypothesis, they're not all going to work. Gotta break that expectation right now. They will not all work. However, we can learn something from all of them. And so getting into this reflection and consolidation stage that allows us to understand that what I learned here is building on my collaborative capacity, capabilities, ecosystem, all of these things that we're trying to build. Every time we do a thing, it helps us. It enables us in a greater capacity. So really taking the time to synthesize that learning and use it to fuel your ecosystem growth. So if we're all here to say like, yeah, man, I would love for, I mean, I love big goals, right? Let's just say them. I would love for all of us to have an empowered ecosystem of 1,000 people. 1,000 people you could call on to do a thing if you needed a thing as part of a collaboration. And not just all of us in a 1,000, because there will be overlap, and that's even like more people. What couldn't we do? What couldn't we do if we had that many people in our back pocket who wanted to grow the concept of whether it's collaborative entrepreneurship or a specific mission to the place where it can actually like take a foothold in this cracked out societies that we're living in right now, right? Like this is every single moment, every single failure, every single minute of joy, every single opportunity creates this possibility. And when we take a minute to like take it to the bank and say like, this is what we're learning, and maybe that sucked today, but next step is up. And we're only going up from here. And this community is only going up together. And we refuse to let our fellow community members go down the spiral. No pit of despair here. We're all working together to get up into the top. And these are the 3 key places along the journey that we have mapped as part of our clear pathways. Is there anything, Melissa or Kristen, you want to add onto that one?
No, but I would like to capture that sound bite because
Okay.
I loved it.
This is why we record things, because Tracy always says unplanned stuff, but sometimes it's good. Okay, so the last thing that we heard a lot of people talking about visibility, and specifically where to share. So as I mentioned in that pathways, one of the really important things we want to focus on is sharing our collaborative experiences, sharing the resources that we have that can contribute in a beneficial way to our community's experiences. And so we wanted just to like briefly outline kind of 2 different categories where we see the visibility and how to share / where to share conversation happening. Do you want to take it? I see you're still off mute, Melissa. Do you want to take it or do you want me to take it?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. I didn't go back
yeah.
on mute.
Okay, it's fine. It's just usually that means somebody might want to say something, so I ask. Okay, so we have the community collaboration. How do we be in community with each other, right? And this is more so than even just community. How do we actively be good collaborators for each other, even if that is just that reflection component? So some of those pieces that we identified in this category were sharing resources and our unique expertise. And I think we've talked about some of the categories where we can do that with those panel conversations. Again, and if you have ideas of other ways to do that, we welcome them. Please share them with me, share them with Melissa, share them with Kristen. We really want to hear your ideas on that front as well. One of the other things we have done is we have added a category in the collaborator database for resources. So if you have specific resources that you have either created or you are like very excited to share that enable collaboration for the community, there is now a place in your collaborator profile in the database for you to share that. We really encourage you to do that. We've put it there for now because the database in its current state is the best place to search for resources. And so if you like try it out, if there's like anything that feels bumpy, or again, if you have other ideas of how to share that, please, we would love to hear them. Offering and receiving collaborative support. So we do have that looking for collaborators, and there's been some good asks in there, right? Like what people are looking for, but let's go in there and share. I feel like how we can offer stuff too, right? Like what is something that you think that you could contribute to your fellow collaborators? Feel free to put it in there too. Great place to both offer and receive, not just one or the other.
I'll add two in the database. Just really quickly in the database, if you want to put a calendar link in there for a short call, offering your expertise. So let's say like I have a super quick marketing question, right? And Tracy's got a 15 and 20 minute, 30 minute like link in there just for offering collaborative support, right? Like, it's not a consultation. It's just like, hey, Tracy's in my pocket, right? In my back pocket, right? And she is offering that bit of time to jump on a call. So there's a spot in the database to be able to do and to search for that as well.
Which reminds me, I'm pretty sure my link is not in there, but I have one of those in case anybody does have marketing questions they want to run by anybody. Exploring collective ideas. So the wild ideas thread and labs are the best place to do this right now. But again, they do not have to be formatted. You don't have to know what kind of help you're looking for. This is just a place to like get it out of your head into the world, because into the world is where we want it to end up, I think, most of us. And then offering diverse perspectives. So personally, I'm a huge fan of asking questions in this arena, right? So like feeling free to like ask questions. If you feel like if someone's posted something and you feel like you maybe don't want to do that on their post, this is what the direct messages are for, right? So feel free to start conversations that way. Offer your perspective, offer what you can help. I also think, remember, not your advice isn't for everybody. Okay? So there might be some people that are like, thanks, please don't message me. That's probably not going to happen, but it isn't about, for a lot of us, we filter out what we think is relevant when it could be really helpful to people. So we're just encouraging you to offer, like, you have valuable perspective. We believe you have a valuable perspective. If we all go into this together saying we all have valuable perspectives, then we can receive all of that feedback in different ways too. And then lastly, again, this ties more into the partnered experience perspective, but the co-creation collaboration, right? Like, let's go co-create stuff, right? And a lot of times we wait for an invitation, right? But what if we didn't? Okay? What if we went and invited somebody? What if we went and invited someone into a conversation, not necessarily knowing where it's going to go, but I met you at the Commons. Sounds like we both kind of jam on this thing. Let's keep the conversation going. I think Kat and I are like the perfect example of that, because we're just like, we don't really know, but we're so aligned on all the things. We're just going to keep talking about stuff. This is also co-creation, right? I think a lot of times we get so stuck on like, what does that look like, that we turn off the power of the potential co-creation. So like, make it open. It can just be a conversation, right? Yes, we can go co-create businesses. We can go co-create offers, but there's a lot of cool co-creation that can happen in the meantime. So let's keep the door open for that as well. And that's just you guys. That's just you guys interacting with us. Again, we love feedback and how we can help facilitate that from a community perspective, but like, go get it, folks. Go get it. All right, I am done with the feedback. What's
Okay.
next, Melissa? What's
What's
next?
next? Well, there's a lot of things next. And as you know, Tracy and Kristen were talking about like all the changes, that were happening in events and inside the structure of the incubator. And we have more experiments in planning. But I want to talk about one big pilot that is coming up, that you're going to see more and more about, is called pilot ecosystem mapping. And so probably what does that look like? What does that mean? I've talked a lot before about like connecting with your collaborative ecosystem, right? And we've talked about like partnership matching. And so partnership matching doesn't really cover what it is that we want to do in a collaborative ecosystem, right? Partnership matching, like a dating app, I could say, why don't you connect with so and so, right? You're a good match. But what we really want to be able to do is look at this whole ecosystem of committed collaborators, right? So we know everybody in the ecosystem shares collaborative values, and shares the intention of being there as a collaborator, but who is right for me, um, both in alignment to me personally, but with what I'm looking to collaborate on, right? So when we think about mapping our collaborative ecosystem, we think about looking at the whole ecosystem in the context of not only who we are, as humans and who aligns to us personally, but also aligns to what we're looking for right now in collaboration, whether that's little tiny experiments or it's building a business together. And so I just have a few examples that I'm going to very quickly go through because I know we're running low on time. And we'll share these with you. But it can look like, I need an awesome marketing funnel expert to help me design a new passive lead generator for us. I know this has come up, right? This is like an exchange-based collaboration, right? But where I'm looking for something really specific. And so, I want to map my ecosystem to show me people who are aligned to connect with and start potentially building relationships with so that I can determine, right, who might be a really good fit to partner with in collaboration, on this project with me. Another example might be like, I want to explore potential partners for plugging in my expertise as a speaking coach, right? Who in my ecosystem is aligned, right? Who shares a niche with me, or a complementary niche, and they serve in a different way, right? They have a shared passion area with me. The things that are really important in that particular collaborative project that you can search your ecosystem. You can map your collaborative ecosystem, to identify people who are aligned. One more example, I want to identify potential partners for a collective business, right? So I want to form a business with other collaborators. Who's open to that, right? Who's open to co-founder opportunities, right? And they have complementary roles and complementary skills. So it's really all about what can give us the power and the flexibility to really search at any given point in my collaborative journey to start connecting with potential partners, and exploring those opportunities together. And so, as I said, you're going to hear more about that coming up. But if you're like really, really keen on being involved right at the grassroots part of understanding how we're going to be able to build this, DM Tracy or myself. And then I know in this next slide, we're going to talk about like how to get momentum right now in the ecosystem, in the community. But get on the collaborator database. If you're not on there yet, go and get yourself on the collaborator database, because this is where we're going to kind of take root from. You're going to probably see changes there, right? As we learn more about what qualities are going to be needed to create and map an ecosystem, for everyone. But get on the collaborator database right now, not just for this reason, but for other reasons we talked about earlier too. So that's number one that you can do, right now to start getting momentum and to help us, really kick off this ecosystem mapping pilot. The next thing that you can do is start that contributor clarity course. Both Kristen and Tracy mentioned that sprint that we did. It will be live sometime around mid-February as a course that you can kick off on your own asynchronously, right? So there will be other people doing it at the same time, but you can kick that off asynchronously on your own time frame and get that contributor clarity yourself. Do it again too if you want to, but do that just to kind of kick off that phase one. Find events that create momentum for you, right? Really kind of attach to one or two events that do get momentum for you. Get into community threads. So really start to ask, offer, right? Share collaborative experiences, share resources that you find really helpful. Just really get in there and start connecting with people in those ways. If you have, a big idea, you have a big wild idea, and there isn't an event that Wild Ideas event at the time you want, reach out to us. And let us know, right? If there isn't an event that you really want to go to that isn't at a time that you can do, but you're willing to host one, reach out to us, right? We want to make sure that this community works for you and helps you to get momentum. So let's make sure that we work together to do that. And then finally, start scheduling one-on-one connections that align to where you're headed, right? So, like Tracy said, don't wait for mapping the ecosystem, right? And if the community doesn't have that yet for you, that's okay. We're headed there, right? We need to shift from having this community around supporting collaborative entrepreneurship to actually building that ecosystem. And so, and that's needed for us to really be able to offer that collaborative experience, to have an ecosystem of committed collaborators there, ready to partner and create that opportunity together. So, I think, yes. Oh, excellent. Okay. So we have some time for Q&A before, our hour is up. I'm going to stop sharing. Kristen or Tracy, anything else before we just open it up to everyone?
Open the floor.
Open the floor. Okay. So, yeah, that was a lot. And there are other things even more behind, the scenes that we're working on, small stuff and whatever. But, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? If you didn't have a chance to give us feedback in one of those focus sessions, now is a good time to give us more of that feedback, to say, hey, this sounds great, but like, I really wanted to be able to do this, right? Oh, just let her rip.
Okay, so can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, great. So first of all, I want to say thank you. I'm really glad we had this call because everything was very scattered in my mind, and I'm an organized thinker. And so previously, I'm like, oh my God, all these things are popping up on my calendar, and I don't know what's what. And I was not able to fully participate in the sprint, just the time of year, et cetera. So this is very, very helpful. Getting everything tightened up. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that and share that with everybody. And I really like the idea of the ecosystem mapping being bigger than just a matching app. And I get that this database that you've been already starting is really, you've got to house all the data somewhere so that it can be connected and searchable. So I guess my question is, when you say, sign up to help with the mapping tool, what do you mean? Help in what way?
So that's a good question. There'll be a lot of different ways that founding members are going to help contribute to that. Some of it is going to be simply, giving us feedback in surveys, very low involvement level, up to helping us to actually pilot in a more involved way. So there's a lot of ways that you as a founding member can get involved asynchronously, and both, synchronously. So I have to do some work to get ready to launch that pilot.
We have to do some work.
I'm sorry, we have to do I was using the royal I. We have to do some work to prepare to launch that and to understand the roles that founding members can really help play in getting that pilot off the ground. So stay tuned. But essentially, it's at any level you would like to be involved with that. But the most basic level of involvement is making sure that you're on the database.
Okay, thank you.
How do we
I just
update-
wanted to say we because I doesn't do anything in this community.
That's right.
It's a collaborative entrepreneurship community, and we do things.
That's right.
Okay, Sarah.
How do we update the database information? Because I did it when I signed up and I didn't put everything in there. So I'd love to update it.
Yeah, so right now, we're on Airtable and we have a form. Eventually, and when I say eventually, it could be a year, plus down the road. Eventually, we'll have a more integrated process. But for now, there's a link that Kristen Toscano can give you. Everyone has a unique edit link. And so you probably have it in your DM inside. No, is it an
Like
email or
email.
email?
But I can send it to you again if you need it.
That would be amazing. I don't know where it would be in my email. My email's not well organized.
Yeah, it gets lost. I know. We work with what we have for right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Also exciting about where you guys are headed. This is great.
Good. Good.
And happy to contribute in the collaboration ecosystem if you guys need help.
Yeah, would love it. Thank you. Yeah.
We need collaborators. Always need collaborators.
Yeah. Jessica, were you volunteering or you have your hand up?
Yes, you know that I will. Yes.
I wasn't sure if you
Literally what
wanted
I'm
to-
studying is like entrepreneurship ecosystem models.
I know. Yeah. Well, look at Jessica's going to be, I'm sure, having a lot of involvement in, she's got stuff she wants to test and, just stay tuned. There's a lot of things that we really want to explore here. Right. So, we talked about events, like those are the static events, like those are the events that are always going to be there. Right. But then there's so much more that we are going to be exploring. Yeah, I'm really excited about everything the potential to
Yeah.
understand collaborative entrepreneurship more.
For sure. And it's like the way that everything is going in economic development is pushing into those kind of communities and into that kind of work too. So it's very much on the vanguard.
Yeah.
That's why there's no roadmap for this.
We have to build the roadmap.
Yeah,
Building a
and that's why I
roadmap.
want to help with building the roadmap. One of the things I did think of quickly was when you were talking about experimentation labs, that we should figure out a way of being able to introduce a rapid iteration cycle into it, because it really comes from test change, and has to happen quickly for it to really start to grow. So figuring out a way to do that in
Thank you.
this
Yes.
format. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds like challenge accepted. Like,
Yeah. Thank you.
zones of expertise. Also, Jessica and I have a call on Wednesday, which I'm very excited about.
Yes, we do.
It's been on the calendar for a long time.
We have a long list of things to talk about, I'm sure.
Yeah, man, 30 minutes, so we'll see how it goes.
In
But I
30
think this is also, well, yeah, there's no way we'll be only 30 minutes.
No,
But I think this is
blocked
also
out. I have like an hour blocked, so we'll be.
okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Just
We are at noon. Appreciate all of y'all being here. If you have to hop, feel free to do so. Like as Melissa said, we can stay on for a couple minutes if there are other questions or
Yeah.
things that people want to
And this will be
I want to
recorded.
thank y'all for being here.
Yeah, this is recorded and will be added into the community as well. Where are we going to put this? In resources? Right?
I haven't thought that far ahead.
It'll be
we
in
will
there.
we will inform you as to where it is.
That's right.
So,
Yeah. Right,
It's the
Yeah,
first
cool.
town hall, so we get to decide.
right. Any other thoughts, feelings? Becca?
Yes, so it's wonderful to be here. I've kind of been away for a while and I'm in my process, and it's one of those things like before I can engage with others, what where am I in getting grounded and kind of more anchored and
Yeah.
clarity in that. However, it's always here because I'm so excited about this. I mean, even before you guys came together and started doing this, Kristen and I were having conversations just like, yeah, seeing the world in this way. And first, I want to say it's like during the presentation, and everything, like I have ideas and been like just
Woo!
all kinds of possibilities have been coming up. So I would love to share, like of how we can collaborate.
Yes,
There's different ways. Like sometimes it's a little thing, but sometimes actually more substantial support and engagement. And so how can we do that? And so some possibilities came around that in terms of having, pooling hours or something because it might not be a direct relationship. It's like,
right,
oh, well, this person might offer something, but you know what? What I have might actually serve this other person. So how can we pool? And it's not necessarily a direct
yeah.
linear
Yeah, those
experience.
models, building out all of the like infinite number of models of how we can connect in with each other. Yes. Oh, and so that's awesome that like, let's connect on that because that building out those resources for people and those ideas about how to connect, right? That's how we really like really expand what's possible when we can offer models for people to connect in with when we couldn't think of that on our own because that's what stifles, so many of the seeing possibility.
Yeah, and then the other one is like, when Tracy was saying building communities, it's like each of us having that 1,000-person support, but then also out into the real world, what does that look like? Each of us has our business, has our work, and yes, how we may be interacting in here, but then how does that spread out further? And yeah, like, so the diagram thing was just this view of this flow of referrals. Like as we get to know each other and connect and working together, then somehow the collaborations, but also how do the different spaces support each other and having real time um, flow that's beyond the competition. Like my community and my work, like with QC, that's that internal ecosystem and how an individual is relating to the world, relating to being and possibility. And then here's this space and how many, like this flow back and forth. And there may be people here who would want to come in to that space. There may be people
100%.
in that space that then are like, but I have my business, so how can I connect and bring these into fruition? So it's like internal ecosystem and then moving into like
Yeah.
tangible in the world and
Yeah, I
finding
call them
ways.
community partnerships, but it would be good to connect on that too, to have like a different perspective on like, what I think about community partnerships, right? And kind of a tangible, I say tangible, but anyway, yes, that I would love to connect with you on that. And that's absolutely like, how does this connect in with the outside world into
Mhm.
how businesses, are connecting, how communities and ecosystems are connecting in with each other, right? Our aim is to facilitate collaborative entrepreneurship, right? It's not to become not to be a business coach or like a business support community, right? We're not here to tell you how to create amazing solo entrepreneurship businesses or to teach you marketing or to, right? Like it's about supporting collaborative entrepreneurship and how you do that. But there are these other communities who are amazing at what they do, and they're all pieces of the bigger puzzle. And so, right, like what does the flow and the interaction and the connection look like for them that benefits the whole as well?
Yes. So
Not silos, an ecosystem,
yes.
a
Yeah.
healthy ecosystem. Because a lot of times we don't have a healthy ecosystem, right? Of connected things. We have silos who are trying to reproduce, all the resources here, right? So if they're thinking the whole ecosystem of businesses, I've got to reproduce all of that and be here to win the game, right? Instead of thinking I'm this crucial piece of an ecosystem and I need to be amazing at doing that and connecting in and supporting. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just had this like, I don't know if we'll actually go with this, but like this whole spinny thing that I said was like a whole bunch of iterations. Like, oh, now it feels like a swimming pool, right? Like, and there's like this swimming pool, and we dive into it. And when you dive into it, you create waves. But like, how do you get the water into the swimming pool? The swimming pool is like the joint thing that you were talking about, Becca. Because I was like, this is why people have public pools, right? Because it's really expensive for all of us to have our own swimming pool. And we don't really want to use a swimming pool that much, so we don't want to have our own swimming pool. But we have this like community swimming pool that works really well to do the things. Anyway, I'm gonna play with that for later.
I picture ether, right?
I think it's just like when we use the words like flow and ripples, like to me it's always water. And like water like expands to fill the space, right? Because it's liquid, but it could be anyway. States of matter. It's this anyway. This is how.
And we need to come back to the naming conversation again, right? Sarah was help supporting that. We had some collaborative effort in that, and we need to come back to revisit that. That should have added that to the goals for 2026. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we can continue to come up with stuff that we're like, meh.
I know Melissa in our chat, like the leadership team chat, like I throw stuff in there all the time and I like get no response and I'm like, yeah, all right. There's just a tomato.
Oh, Becca.
I do have a
Nothing.
question.
Yes.
Oh, everybody's frozen. I don't know if you can.
I think your connection, because you'll freeze occasionally. Oh no. Put it in the chat. Well, if we're frozen for her. Are you
Oh,
back?
There she
okay.
goes.
You're back.
There she
We're
goes.
back. Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but I do have a question, and it's around the roles because like I'm really exploring that, and that's a major part of my integration process and stepping into. Okay, there's a visionary leadership, and so and of course in different projects we may take on different roles and everything. So as one of those initial pieces is exploring, reading that article and everything, are there going to be spaces for conversations or, like folks who are in a builder space, like, I don't know, to get reflection or connection, or is that going to be more of a one-on-one seeking out, or I don't know.
That's a good
if-
question. And not one that we've explored yet. So in the database, we kind of, once you have clarity on that, like kind of list that primary role, right, that you play. And in fact, I think it's not just one. You can list a number of different roles that you're open to, right? But I think it is a valuable exploration, right, for visionaries to have a conversation with each other, right, as that primary role, right, or builders to have a space. And there's a lot of these like different concentrations for people. Like we've talked about it for hubs with human design, right, that built in. Same thing for these roles. And I think that it would be really valuable to build a hub for those roles as well. Yeah. One of the challenges for us is limited in the technology for the platform that we have, right? So that it doesn't get overwhelming. So for us, it's this balance of, how do we create spaces for people, those threads, without the whole thing getting like overwhelming? So really appreciate that desire because, yeah, I'm just like with, projectors wanting a space to come together, right? Those roles are a nice connection point for us in the community. So,
And also, I would say don't wait for a space, like start those conversations in the general section or whatever.
right. Just initiate a conversation with like the challenge or the insight or whatever that you have around that role. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. All right, we better break you free. Does anyone have anything they really want to ask or okay. All right. Thank you, thank you. This was really wonderful. We're excited to kick off 2026. Keep an eye out. I'm traveling in the middle of February, beginning of March. You'll see a lot of things kicking off at the beginning of March. And in the meantime, you're still going to see all these tweaks happening and more events being added to the calendar. And we're really excited to collaborate with you guys more and get a lot more momentum in 2026.
Kat says, get the picture. Do we want to get a picture?
Oh, the picture. Yes, 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 yes. All right, hang on.
Thanks, Kat.
Okay, is everyone ready? Yes, if you're off
Yeah,
camera.
get in there. Get in here, Anthony.
Look, we're scoot over.
Yes.
All right.
1 second.
Okay, ready? All right. Yay. Thank you. This was great, and I will see you all in the community.
Yay! Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Bye.
Great week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.